Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Hello everyone and welcome to Common Ground. I'm your host, Ashley Hall. Common Ground captures the creative process of various artists living throughout our region. Each week we delve into the veiled history of our area, plus we take you inside the cultural events that put the North in North Country. On this week's episode of Common Ground, we visit Northern Lights Casino in Walker to see how chainsaws and a little elbow grease create amazing works of art at the competitive Chainsaw Sculpting Championship Northern Lights Regional Competition.
We have called chainsaw sculpture a performance art. We've called it a SPART, which is part sport, part art.
I've been carving for about 14 years. I picked up the chainsaw by chance. I was curious to know what it did because I'm a city girl. And wow, what an awesome tool. You know, it's sort of a bit scary and it's dangerous and it's fast and it allows you to do a lot of work really quickly. It's very satisfying.
I just have a natural love for carving and for wood. I've been working with wood since high school, I guess, cabinet shop, and worked into the carving, and now it's a full-time 7-day-a-week job.
10 years ago, I bought a steel chainsaw, and a tree had gone down in my backyard, and I just went after it. I made a mushroom.
And the people that are attracted to it are people that like watching something creative happen in front of them. In general, they're attracted to wood sculpture, and they like the excitement surrounding so many works of art being finished in such a short period of time. We're at the Competitive Chainsaw Sculpting Championships Northern Lights Regional Competition, and I am this event's organizer and producer, along with my partner, Cindy Paulson, and then, of course, the Northern Lights Casino. I'm doing everything I can to make this a wonderful environment for this art to happen. The masterpiece carving is a timed competition. Each carver starts with, at this competition, a 6.5-foot tall log, as large as we can find. They're carving pieces of white pine. They have 14.5 hours to take their design and realize it in their piece of wood. They're limited to that log, and it's a judge competition, so their sculptures at the end of 14.5 hours are judged by our panel of judges. We have 5 qualified judges, and we declare a champion. That champion moves forward to the World Championship in September. At our competition here, we have one of our former champions. His name is Steve Higgins. He's an extremely fast and talented carver from New Mexico. He's working a piece over here with an owl and a bear and a fish and a horse. And incredibly fast, incredibly accurate with the saw. A great compositional vision. Also, a carver of interest is the gentleman on the corner here who did maybe a third real size standing moose. His name's Jenkins. He's known for disassembling his log and piecing it back together seamlessly in an unusual shape. It's called working outside of the log. He's the best at it that I'm aware of. And his moose is standing on all 4 legs, and you cannot see the log that he started with. And one other carver I'd point to being a carver of interest is maybe Angela Polglaze, from our carver from Australia. She's funky, wild personality. She's got a unique vision for chainsaw art. It's definitely non-traditional. She doesn't go in all that much for wildlife. She's doing what she calls a cheesy chick, one of her voluptuous women. It's bound to be a colorful and very expressive piece. like she's known for.
My name's Angie Polglaze. I'm from Australia and I'm a chainsaw chick, I suppose. I carve monumental artworks, we like to think, with a chainsaw and various power tools. When I'm carving, particularly when I'm carving in a public venue like this, basically, once you start that saw, your focus is the end of the saw and removing what you don't want as quickly as possible. And usually, you know, I'm not a terribly religious person, but I'm fairly spiritual, and usually I'll ask the universe to hold my hand because, you know, it's sort of scary and there's not a lot of second chances. Once it's gone, it's gone. And it's a very dangerous tool, so you have to be on the ball and aware of that all the time. Every event's a little bit different. I mean, essentially we're using the same tools, but like it depends on, you know, you might have a different theme. There might be 10 carvers, there might be 70 carvers, you might have 4 hours, you might have 40 hours to complete your working. The wood might be really hard, the wood might be really soft. So you approach every event with a different, you know, essentially we're doing the same thing, but it's a little bit different, and you have to accommodate whatever those differences are. It's half of the challenge. Yeah, it's fun. I loved the tool first and foremost. It was very immediate, but I'd been carving for 5 years by myself in isolation, just hacking away, thinking I was the only one in the whole universe doing it. And then in 2002, I found the international carving community on the internet, and it changed my life forever. I've travelled over to the States, this is my 9th year, to do the circuit of carving events. There's hundreds of events in this country, and all through Europe and England and Japan and everywhere. It's amazing. It's totally changed my life. I love it. I ended up in Minnesota, but once again through the internet. When I started travelling, there's a very strong internet community of chainsaw carvers. It's like an extended family. I travel on my own, but I'm never really on my own. I have 500 big brothers looking out for me, actually probably thousands when it comes down to it. And that's a really encouraging thing, and we all share ideas and we all bounce off one another, and it's an incredibly supportive environment. I'm a very lucky girl, I really am. I mean, okay, it's really hard work, and you know, we're performing monkeys in these sorts of situations, I guess, but this show in particular, it's incredibly professional. The setup's awesome. None of us have been carving in the sun. You know, the wood's clean. It's been really, really well thought out. The whole setup. I'm really impressed. Well done, Minnesota, and well done, Ross Olson, for putting it on. This art practice means a lot to me, and you know, it's special. We're instead of trees going into landfill or being burnt in wood piles, we're creating it into something special, you know, and that's got to be good. That's got to be good for the universe, don't you think? There's a lot of women that carve, more and more women carve nowadays than they've ever carved before. I think that there's an appeal for women because it's a powerful art form. Also, the tools, in the 14 years I've been carving, chainsaws have changed. Chainsaws are being designed just for chainsaw carving now, and they're so light, you know, and so chainsaw carving isn't about brute strength, it's about stamina, skill and talent, and the sheer desire to want to do it, which is really the most important one, because if you don't want to do it, you know, not everybody wants to look like this every day. Well, we started a team called the Chainsaw Chicks. Basically, it's an international team of female carvers, and it's a vehicle for us to promote ourselves effectively, and we figure that we have more power en masse. You know, we're more interesting as a group, even though we're all very much individual carvers, and we're lucky to get together once a year. But you know, it helps us to promote ourselves, and it's always fun to carve with other people, which is one of the reasons I travel, because at home I carve alone. So you know, 8 months of the year I'm carving in solitude, and then I get to play, and it's just terrific. Yeah, I love it.
Our fans come from all walks of life. They're just interested in seeing something unique and creative happen. And not surprisingly enough, more than a few of them become chainsaw art collectors. We sell all these pieces at auction on Sunday, and once you have one and you see how many people are interested in it in your own yard or living space, they're just kind of fun to collect and have around. They're encouraged to arrive with a clear idea of what they want to make. Most guys will say that it helps them to sketch out and it helps them see the carving in the log if they have sketches of it. There are guys here that have carved these exact pieces at their shop before. Just in preparation for an event like this, it's not unusual for a carver to do the same carving 1, 2, 3 times. And as the stakes increase, I'm sure that'll become more and more common. Because there's a definite strategy here. You have to bring your image in this large log across the finish line, or you're unfinished and it's not going to win or place or show and not do well at auction. So you have to maximize your time usage to accomplish your strategy and your sculpture, and that in itself is fairly unique to this art form. It's a great thing to do with your creative abilities. It's a lot of fun. The quick carve competitions are little mini competitions within the competition. Today's quick carves are 1.5 hours in length. Subject matter is open. Whereas in the masterpiece, there is a themed northern wildlife subject matter, and the quick carve is open. Quick carve is won by the carver who produces the piece or pieces that go for the most at auction for that day, wins a cash prize and a medal. They're fun to watch because they're 1.5 hours in length, and these artists can kick out a lot of wood in that amount of time. At each of our competitions, we invite some carvers with less experience than our competitors to take part. Exposes them to the pressure of carving in front of a live audience. Sometimes we discover people talented enough that eventually will move to the next level. Other of them are hobbyists who this is a unique thrill for them, and we're happy to have carvers basically of every talent level participate at our events.
I've been chainsaw carving for only a couple years now, on and off, as a hobby. And today was my first competitive carve. My mom got a carving from somebody, and she kind of started carving because she liked the way it looked and thought she could do it, and then she got me into it. I went in with an idea of what I was going to carve, but I wasn't completely sure, and I just kind of went with it. If you make a wrong cut when you're doing it, you just have to keep going and just move around it and do the best you can. It's a lot of work. It is. It looks like it's easy just because of the way that they do it, but it's really not. I mean, I can't believe that these guys are doing this and the amount of time that they're doing it. Today was a lot of fun, and I got to see a lot of really nice pieces and learn a lot from them too.
I've been carving, chainsaw carving, for about 12 years. And prior to that, I did chisel carving and some smaller pieces. I was invited up to this show here to do the quick carve competition as a guest carver. What brought me into carving with the chainsaw was that I saw some other guys carving at a gas station years and years ago. I watched them for an hour or so, and I thought, well, that looks like a lot of fun. So I bought a chainsaw, and the rest is history. When I first look at a piece of wood, I'll walk around it 3-4 times and see if I can visualize a finished piece inside of that log, and then I just start up the bigger saws, take off the big pieces, and work my way down to the smaller saws. That's generally how I do it. Sometimes, if I don't have any particular plan, I'll just go with the wood, with particular grains, or if happens to be a knot or a branch or something like that, and I'll use that, or try to incorporate that into the piece.
Chainsaw carving started. It's a little bit foggy where it started, but there's a carver who claims to be the original chainsaw carver. That was in the late 40s. Actually, he was overseas in Fiji working with the military, and he had access to a chainsaw and some free time, made the world's first chainsaw carving. Since then, it's evolved to the point of there were early competitions, but they were real informal. Now Seesaw, the organization that I'm a part of, Competitive Chainsaw Sculpting Association worldwide, we have a worldwide competition. We have a competition in Germany that participates in our association, a competition in Japan, about 8 competitions in the States that form a tournament, of which this is one of them, and they culminate in a championship, a world championship in September that we also produce. There are several types of competitions. Our competition here, not only is it all tools, but also all finishes, and we do allow some glue and hardware in there so people can take pieces of their log and reassemble it. That is its own tradition, and that one came out of the auctions basically financially supporting the events, and we found that things with more of a finish, more color, tend to do a little bit better at auction. And that'll be exciting because there's several artists here that really excel with their use of color. There's going to be some neat looking stuff here. It's on the other end of the spectrum. In our tournament, our Japanese competition is a chainsaw only competition where you get a log and you have chainsaws, and that's all the tools you can use. It's a real pure form of this art form. It's almost a tradition in and of itself, and it's a wonderful one. Not surprisingly, the Japanese carvers excel at producing clean work with just a chainsaw.
I started chainsaw carving in Japan. Japan also have many places, many competitions. Many people coming to all over the Japan. I made a bunch of great carving friends. So now I started going all over the USA. I have a bunch of people, a bunch of carving friends. So I love the burning taste. Little bit use the big torch and the burning and a little sanding. So that is looks so natural, looks so great. My husband, Michael Brain, came to compete in a Japanese competition. And we met, and I visited him many times and get married and get son now. So I couldn't carve in a couple of years because I got pregnant and delivered him. But now my son is 2-year-old because I can carving. So this is very, very excited for me too. So I grown up in a big city in Japan, and I moved to a little countryside and get small land. So the land got the trees. I have to cut them, but I have no idea about chainsaw. So I'm gonna start to Google it and found out the chainsaw carving. What's that? You know, I wanted to try myself, and I feel so good after my first piece, second piece, third piece. I decided after the third piece, I'm gonna be in a chainsaw carver. I love the carving the small animals, doggies and the cats and the squirrels and the deers. Many Japanese carver likes carving Japanese dragons and Japanese koi fish and many things. I made only one Japanese geisha lady. So she lay down and have a sake bottle and you know. I always use tiny tip chainsaw carving bar, samurai carving bar. So that is a great works for me. I love to make detail with the chainsaw. I usually make small doggies, and cats, and make their face cutie. So when the face coming cute, I feel so good and I can carve well.
The best part of the process is discovery. You know, like I'll cut a piece and then I'll torch it, and then as I'm brushing off the soot and everything, all these wonderful shapes and things appear that I didn't expect sometimes. And then I discover new things that I can do, or new ways of cutting that create different textures and things that I find interesting. The strangest thing I figured out one day was that I'm making art for other people, and that's what I'm doing. That's like how I approach every piece. So I'm always going into it realizing that I need to take great care in the communication, like when I'm trying to communicate with a piece, so that somebody else will understand what I'm trying to portray. And I've tried to get it down to a more intuitive thing where it's like a dialogue with the log. So I make a cut, and then I see that cut, and then I make another cut, and it's a continuous like reaction. So as the piece starts to come out, I start to react to whatever's there, because I used to try to bring the drawing and like articulate the drawing with measurements, and I'd be measuring and doing all this stuff. But the problem is that really, when you're carving a cylinder, it's really hard to maintain something that's square. You know, like a block of wood, it would work well for measuring and all that stuff. But a round cylinder, it doesn't work as well. So you really need to let go and kind of find the forms as you're cutting. So my favorite part of the competition is just getting together with other carvers in a small space and watching these pieces come to life as I'm bringing a piece, you know, to life. Like all this creative energy is kind of just, you know, in there, and everybody's just, you know, doing their thing. And there's a great camaraderie among chainsaw carvers. So it's just, that's my favorite part of the competition. I kind of ride off of that for the competition. And my favorite part of just carving is being able to just say somebody has an idea, something they like, and it could be me, but it could be anybody. And being able to come up with something that fits that, and then making that happen, like bringing that into reality. So it's like taking you know, an abstract idea and then bringing that into reality. I think, you know, that's the oddest thing about what I do, is because I sell something that doesn't exist to people, you know, and they take it on faith that by the end of it, they're gonna have something they like. It's a very strange process, but I like that. It's very, you know, it is creation, yeah.
If you're interested in doing some chainsaw sculpture, I would caution you from picking up the saw in your garage and just going out and trying it. Because to carve with a chainsaw is an extremely dangerous thing to do without a little bit of education. Maybe one option is find a carver nearby and go pick his brain for a little information and watch him work. Or of course I would invite everyone to come out to our competition and watch how it's done, because even the chainsaws are specialized for doing the fine detail cutting. And if you try that with a saw with just a regular chainsaw bar on it, it's an incredibly hazardous thing to do. So do not try this without getting a little bit of education. With a little bit of education, it's an incredibly intoxicating, creative thing to do. I encourage everybody to try it with a little bit of information and the right tools and the right safety equipment. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But most chainsaw stuff is, you can just see the impact of the saws in the wood. That makes it kind of alive in a different way. And while wood carving is certainly not a new art form, chainsaw sculpture and what that tool brings to a piece of wood is unique. So seek it out and check it out, and if you like it, hopefully we'll have an event near you.
When I attend these events, I think we always, all of us, and I'd speak quite clearly for all the carvers on this, is we all walk away a better carver. a better artist. We learn so much just by watching the masters at work and how they utilise the saw to achieve a certain look, you know, and the different techniques. Also, we walk away inspired beyond belief, and that's just priceless, basically. You can't put a price on that. And you go home with just ideas just falling out of your ears. It's fabulous, fabulous. I'd just like to think that through what we do and through our work is that as art should work, that we encourage people to think outside the box and to reach higher in life and to try new things and to explore the possibility within, because we've all got an endless well of possibility if only we'd be brave enough to dip in and have a go, you know, and that's what this is about. It really is.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Please join us next week as we feature Susie Ray Ross of Bemidji, Joe and Tammy Tkalsich of Breezy Point, and Marcia Wolf of Nevis right here on Common Ground. If you have a segment idea for Common Ground pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org or call us at 218-333-3022. To view this episode or any Common Ground segment, visit us at lptv.org/Common Ground. Individual segments or copies of Common Ground, please call 218-333-3020. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org. If you have segment ideas pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund by the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008.